What's going on, everyone? I hope you are all well. Welcome back to another video. I think it's safe to say 100% we have just witnessed one of the greatest heavyweight boxing matches that we will ever see. Ever see. For as long as boxing continues. That was an unbelievable fight. Listen, it's about 5 to 6 UK time. 5 to 6 in the morning UK time. I'm not going to mess around with this video. We're going to get straight into it. Both fighters looking confident when they came out, both looking calm. Fury always looks calm. I thought Wilder looked quite calm. Didn't pick anything up from the ring walk. Round one started. It was a Wilder round. There's not a shadow of a doubt about that. And what I will say is, that first round is the best round. At the time it was. We'll get on to a later round. At the time, when that round happened, the first round, that was the best round I'd ever seen Wilder box. And it still wasn't that good, which was quite... For me, if I was Wilder's corner, I'm thinking, that's the best round he's probably ever boxed, in a round that he obviously hasn't knocked someone out. That's the best round he's technically boxed, and it still wasn't very good. It was very obvious what he was trying to do, and it was smart from Wilder what he was trying to do. He was throwing the jab to the body. He wanted Tyson to protect his body and come over the top with the right hand that can clean most people out. The problem was he was just, every single jab he was throwing to the body, he was putting so much behind it. And when you're fighting someone like Tyson Fury, you've got to find your range. You have to find your range. Because if you don't, Tyson Fury is so good at taking it off. And he did that so many times in that first round where Wilder would throw a jab and yeah, it had hit. But when Fury's backing off, he's taking so much of that power off. And in the first round when he threw a few overhand rights, again the same. They clipped Fury a little bit. But because Wilder's he's so bad at punching in range and finding his range, he never ever does it. He never finds his range very well. And Fury's so good at that, knowing where to be and knowing when to get out. However, the first round, 1,000,000% would go to Wilder. He landed more of the shots. Fury landed a good one too near the end of the round, but 1,000,000% Wilder's round. Round two, Fury came into it. Was it round two that he dropped? No, it wasn't round two that he dropped him. This only happened a few minutes ago. You'd assume I'd remember this. It wasn't round two that he dropped him. Round two, Fury's round, comfortable. He knew what Wilder was trying to do. Combated it quite easily. Again, it blows my mind how bad he is at finding range, Deontay Wilder, and how far out of range he tries to throw his punches. Because even when you're that far out of range, even as powerful as Deontay Wilder is, when you're having to reach and your feet aren't planted the way they should be and you're overstretching and Tyson Fury's moving back, even if you catch him, the fact that you're overreaching means there's not enough power, and the fact that Fury's moving back means it isn't going to hurt him as much. And that was Wilder's problem in this fight. Constantly overreaching. And what's so annoying is that, obviously, listen, I don't know what his corner said to him. The BT tried showing it, trying to let you listen in, but you couldn't really hear it very well. What I find so frustrating if I was a Wilder fan is that it's so glaringly obvious that how far he punches out of range, but yet nothing changed. He didn't try and change it. I don't know if his corner, I can't say anything about his corner. I don't know if his corner told him to. But for me, that was just so obvious. He was never ever in range until I'm now going to contradict myself completely. Round three, what the fuck happened? That was one of the best rounds I think we've seen in a very long time. Round three, Wilder came out and he looked knackered. He looked absolutely shattered in that third round, and I was shocked. And listen, I don't know if it's the frame. I think Wilder coming in heavier was a really big mistake. Number one, if you're going to come in heavier, you need to sort your legs out. the legs that Wilder's got cannot hold that weight. They can't. They can't. Now, Tyson Fury has not got big legs. He's got massive thighs. Massive thighs. His thighs are so big. The bottom of Wilder's legs are like tree trunks. Tree trunks? No, they're not. They're like twigs. I don't know why I said tree trunks. They're not nothing like tree trunks. Yeah, and he just looked a bit discombobulated, looked like, because Fury was so good at leaning on him, throwing the body shots on the inside, and then Fury eventually dropped him. Wilder got up, stayed composed, and a problem that Fury's had before, we've seen it with Fury, and in fact we've seen it with Fury against Deontay Wilder, he got complacent. That happened in the first fight. The very first fight he got complacent. And that's why in the first fight, the Undertaker resurrection when he got up, if he had got complacent, then he would have never have got dropped. Fury was winning that fight, without a shadow of a doubt, that first fight. He was going to win it on points. He didn't need to go for the knockout, and that's what he was trying to do. He got complacent. Deontay Wilder from quite close. They were in the clinch. And it was risky from Fury, and I get it. I understand why Fury didn't mind being in the clinch. They're just showing the replays here, actually, from the knockdowns. I don't blame Fury for wanting to be in the clinch. Of course he will. He's the heavier man. Of course it helped in tiring him out. But when you're coming out of that clinch and Deontay Wilder gets you off him or you let go, you pose the risk of someone as powerful as Wilder catching you on the way out. And that happened. Fury got dropped. Any other heavyweight doesn't... I don't want to say doesn't get up. The reason what I want to say is that when Fury gets dropped, and we've seen it against Wilder, we saw it against Steve Cunningham years ago, he never has shaky legs. Ever. You think of the fighters think of Amir Khan, think of Anthony Joshua. When they get rocked, their legs go. Their equilibrium gets rocked. The part of the brain that controls the way your body moves, the way your body functions. Fury's legs are always stable. He's always there. Always. He always seems composed. He never seems rocked. And that is just what is phenomenal because, in my opinion, I think Anthony Joshua beats Deontay Wilder in a fight because I don't think Deontay Wilder is not a good boxer. Deontay Wilder's a fighter, not a boxer. If Deontay Wilder hit any other heavyweight with that punch, I think I can't speak. I think Deontay Wilder wins that fight, and the reason is that, like I said a minute ago, how composed Fury is. His legs don't shake. He knows what to do. He gets behind his jab. He takes a few minutes, calms down, and then comes back. If that's Fury, his legs are all over the place. He's unstable. We saw it against Usyk. We've seen it against Klitschko. We've seen it against Ruiz. It happens. Joshua is so unstable when he gets rocked. And I think if that was Wilder-Joshua, I think Wilder wins. After that round, that was it. That was probably it from Deontay Wilder. I personally think it's his weight. He could not carry that weight. And the fact that he was heavier and he couldn't carry it, but then he was having to carry Tyson Fury as well because Fury did not let go of him, was constantly wrestling him, constantly leaning on him, like I said, body shots. And Fury just wore him down and did what he is so good at, just unbelievable at. And the 1-2s that Tyson throws are just phenomenal. He throws them with such ease, and the way he throws combinations, it's phenomenal. And Wilder was just... He had nothing. He had a jab and a right hand. Then that seems simple, but that you can win a fight with a jab and a right hand, of course you can. But when you've no energy, and you're sapped, and it's a bit just like... It's just frailing, and again, you're not in range, and Wilder and Fury's moving out, and you're losing your power. It was never ever gonna come after that, in my opinion. It just wasn't. You know what? We've got to give so much credit to both fighters. Of course, we have. Fury was excellent in that fight. How Deontay Wilder stayed in that fight for as long as he did to get to round 11. Just, he deserves a round of applause. Now, I'm not the biggest Deontay Wilder fan. I think the way he handled himself in the last fight was just ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised. I think Tyson Fury actually said in an interview after the fight that he went over and Deontay Wilder wanted nothing to do with him, which I just think, that's just sad, really, isn't it? Like, Deontay Wilder's career is probably done now. I can't imagine him fighting again. He's definitely not going to win a world title again. So to go out like that, at least show respect to the better man. And I'm worried that he's going to come out with excuses again and ruin the... Listen, he does have a legacy. Of course he does. He is, without a shadow of a doubt, the heaviest puncher the heavyweight division has ever seen. And I'm including Mike Tyson in that. I don't think anyone has ever punched harder than Deontay Wilder. The problem is he can't box. He doesn't have good technique. And what was worrying as well, if, like I said earlier, if I was a Wilder fan, that was the best Deontay Wilder. The best Deontay Wilder. Better than the first fight. Better than 1,000,000% better than the second fight. I mean, fucking hell, he could have turned up with one leg and been better than the second fight. It wouldn't have been hard, but without a shadow of a doubt, that was the best Deontay Wilder. Do a fourth one if you want. You still ain't getting done. Please don't. That was a joke. Do not do it. I don't want to see a fourth one. Fucking hell. Please. Oh, that scares me that they would. Don't do a fourth one, whatever you do. But if you do a fourth one, it won't get better than that, because that is his maximum potential, what he did tonight. Deontay Wilder has hit Tyson Fury with his best shot. He did it twice in that third round, and Fury got up, didn't look phased, and went and won that fight. Fury knocked him out. He was out cold on that canvas then. I think in round 10, it was so impressive from Deontay Wilder, and you have to give him credit. Fury was dominating the round, and again, I think he had to throw a jab out and just try Wilder, but they were just nothing punches, nothing were landing. And then all of a sudden at round 10, he backs Fury into a corner and lands a decent combination. And you do start to think, and you worry through the whole fight that you just never know with Deontay Wilder. No matter how tired he is, no matter how fatigued, no matter how much pain he's in, how much it hurts, you just never know. You think you do. I thought I did. But you don't. You don't, really. That punch could come from anywhere. It's like the Ruiz-Joshua punch from the God. Andy Ruiz landed a punch from the God to beat Anthony Joshua, and that is what Deontay Wilder needed tonight. And he couldn't get it. He could not get it. Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte, make that fight happen. Make that fight happen. I don't care about the fight. The press conference for that fight will be unbelievable. I need to stop saying phenomenal. Please help me stop saying it. I'd love to see that fight. I would absolutely love to see it. And I think the outcome that most British boxing fans would want, global fans, is Usyk Joshua. Eddie Hearn announced tonight on a brilliant card in Liverpool, the Fowler Smith card. Congratulations to Liam Smith as well. That was a brilliant fight. Ted Cheeseman as well. What a fighter. Unfortunately didn't get the win, but what a brilliant fighter. Went out on his shield. Fair play to him. Going off on a bit of a tangent there, Eddie Hearn announced today that they have officially triggered the rematch clause for the Usyk AJ rematch. Now, boxing fans, in my opinion, everyone wants the Fury Joshua fight. It's the fight everyone wants to see. The best way this can go for most boxing fans is AJ beats Usyk, Fury beats White, they meet. I don't think that'll happen. Listen, I love Dillian Whyte. He's one of my favourite boxers, if not my favourite boxer. I don't think he beats Fury. I like Anthony. I don't love Anthony. I like Anthony Joshua. I love Alexander Usyk. I don't think Anthony Joshua beats Alexander Usyk, and I think that's just the way it is. I think we'll get Usyk, Fury, and then Joshua versus Dylan White isn't a bad fight. We've had it before. We wouldn't mind it again. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget, press that subscribe button, drop a like, let me know what you thought about the fight in the comments. Let me know what fights you want to see next, and I will see you later.